Hello and welcome to the Around the Ballpark podcast, episode number 98. We are here with episode 98, which is awesome, which means 1 week from tonight, we will be live with episode number 100, huge milestone. So looking forward to that. But we've got the crew here tonight. We've got baseball road tripper royalty. Tony Voda is in the house.
Absolute royalty. Seriously.
Yes.
You guys are too kind.
Not allowed to have favorite guests on the show, but that's why we had him on. And then Darian Redmond, my brother, of course, my co-host here, doing the things that we do. So thank you guys for watching tonight. We're going to talk all things All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby and just the shenanigans that happened at the end of the game and whether we liked it, whether we didn't like it, what would we do instead, that sort of thing. But before we do any of that, Darren, you got to share a few words from our sponsors over at Nashville Tax Solutions.
Palm Bay, Fort Pierce, are tax problems weighing you down? Look at the guy over my shoulder. Are you behind on filings? Are you facing a lien? Nashville Tax Solutions is here with the expertise and dedication you need. Their experienced team handles the IRS so you don't have to. But don't just hear it from us. Clients say it best. Chris Bennett, yes, the man over my shoulder, and his team turned a nightmare into peace of mind. They're sharp, they're honest, and they truly care. So don't let tax stress take over your life. Call 855-627-4829. Visit NashvilleTaxSolutions.com or email info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com today, right now. Nashville Tax Solutions, real help and real results.
Thank you, Darren, and was actually just on the phone before this podcast, right before I got on here live, speaking with Chris, and he is looking forward to partnering again with the Family Christmas Extravaganza. But first thing I want to say off the bat, super excited to share this news. So in addition to Nashville Tax Solutions being at the Family Christmas Extravaganza this year, Around the Ballpark podcast will also be live at the Family Christmas Extravaganza. Over 20,000 people expected to be there. So we're going to have a fun little setup. There's going to be a dunk tank involved. For anyone that subscribes to the podcast, they're going to get a throw at the dunk tank and dunk some really important people. So we're going to have a lot of fun. So more details to come. That's obviously in December.
When is it?
We got quite a ways until that comes.
When is it?
It is going to be Saturday, December the 20th.
Maybe
Yes.
Baseball Road Trip and I have to figure out a way down there and
Just
sit
letting
in
you
the
know.
dunk tank and just sit
I did.
in the dunk
Now,
tank.
Darren, I can confirm, Darren, that I've already been told by someone higher up than me that we will cover your costs to come down here. This is for
Wow.
the word.
Wow.
Wow.
So yes. So just so you have that record. So it's on Saturday, December 20th. It's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
First of all, then I'm in, and you and I need to talk about a way of getting Baseball Road Trip. That could you imagine us both in
That would be, yes, that would be. I know it's close to Christmas, but it's what it is. Tony, too, is this is an event where we give Christmas away for the community, and basically we do things. Thank you so much. We do so many things, like we have bounce houses, rock walls, inflatables. We give away free food. There's no cost to attend this event, anything like that. I also have a special guest here. Rob, the great Robinero, is here. He's saying hello.
Hey.
He was my gracious friend helping me with the pool stuff, so I owe him pretty big tomorrow. But so this event is free to attend. Everything's free. The entertainment. We do like an Extravaganza's Got Talent, similar to AGT. That whole thing. We have cash prizes for the performers, and we have entertainment that come in.
I was going to say, last year you had the winner on that lady.
That lady.
Yes, daily team. So what's really cool about that is because of that, she did that. That was her first like major live performance. She has been cast in 3 consecutive Broadway shows, including the lead vocalist in Dr. Seuss. And then she just got her 4th lead now in another musical at an even bigger venue. So she's really doing well. And what's cool is we locked her in beginning of this year. So because she won last year, she's going to be performing at our event this year, a 3-song set. So that's going to be super cool. So we're working on getting some other artists there right now. But yeah, so Tony, the the hope is, because we're just over 3,000 subs now, but we have a table, and people that come, they'll scan the barcode to subscribe. Once they subscribe, then they'll get a throw, and if they hit the target, they get to dunk somebody. If they miss, then we'll still have some around the ballpark merch, like some vinyl stickers or something for them. So we could logistically triple, quadruple our subs in one afternoon, theoretically, from the amount of people that come to this thing. So, and I am the project manager of the whole event, so I got a little pull there. So, just
love that.
But but yeah, it's going to be super fun, great time. And so, but I'm thinking of even making a dunk team. But if you guys can make it down, that'd be fantastic. I'm thinking, because like we have 300 volunteers for this thing, and we have positions, everything from concession volunteers to green room and stuff. So I'm thinking about making a whole dunk team, like 3 to 4 volunteers of just people that want to get dunked. I'm sure we can find somebody. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll continue to give the details as it gets closer, but that is on the horizon. Very excited about that. So
so not nearly as exciting. You know, Mike, what team does a baseball road trip really like?
He is definitely a Minnesota Twins fan.
Wow. Is that a Brian Dozier jersey or Denard Span?
I think Dozier, but let's find out, kids. I got something on underneath.
Wow, take it all off.
Wait. Yeah.
I got a shirt on.
You have to be a member to get that.
That's right. Are you only fan?
Do you want to play the music now?
This is Dozier.
Nice.
Dozier. Okay. Nice. Now, Darren, because Darren and I were talking last podcast, so you're almost close to all 30 teams now, right? For the jerseys.
Yep, I'm getting there. And in fact, I have some Negro League. I'm trying to get the Pilots and the Expos. Those are next on my list.
Nice.
I have a bunch, of course, from Dad's Cyclone jerseys,
Yep.
but like they're one size too small because I live in an Italian household and I eat too much pasta. So I gotta. Right now, none of them fit me, but that's okay. We'll start a.
That's fine. Yes,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yes.
The gold clothes, I call them. My
Yes.
goal is to get in those clothes.
Yes, someday it will happen.
Especially
This
now
is
with
for a
school.
guest. I had to wear this.
Yes, thank you for doing that. And where do we start? Let's start backwards if that's okay. So the game, in true transparency, was a long day. I got it to the 8th inning. It was 6-0 National League. I'm like, finally. I wake up very surprised to see 6-6 as the final score. I had to catch up on everything the next morning. But of course, we all know how it ended with the home run swing off and stuff. So there's many things to break down there, guys. But first off, just in general, we understand what Aaron Boone said. They had to pick the players before, and there's reasonings why he picked specific people. And I'm a Rays fan, as my wife is, and everything. But Jonathan Aranda as the final swinger for the American League in that spot compared to Pete Alonso. Yes, he didn't get to even swing the bat there. But so, Tony, let me ask you this. First off, your thoughts on that being the tiebreaker. Are you okay with that? Or what would your suggestion be? Because there's a lot of people critical. A lot of people absolutely loved it. So I'm curious to get your opinion.
I just want to see the days of Milwaukee again, that All-Star game. I mean, ending in a tie was just thrilling. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I thought they finally did it right. It's All-Star game is all about entertainment, and that gave the biggest entertainment bang for your buck. The only thing that was slightly missing was kind of the logistics of when guys go home. So unfortunately, you didn't have your Ohtani versus Judge in the swing off, but it was still thrilling. I mean, you get the best part of maybe the All-Star game weekend. You get a home run derby sandwich with the All-Star game in the middle of it. Sign me up.
So you're a fan of? I mean, like you're saying, it kind of brings the best of both worlds. The thrilling element of the derby the night before, yeah. Darren, are you? What are your thoughts on how it ended? Like in terms of how they determine how many swings, all that sort of stuff. Like, would you change any of that? Are you liking it? Did you yell at the
Well, a couple
clouds?
of
Like,
things.
what did
I
you
had
do?
to augment my viewpoint on a lot of things, understanding that they're not going to go extra innings anymore. They're just not going to do it for all the reasons that we know. You're not never going to have a Pete Rose knocking over Ray Fosse. Where it really seemed to matter. No, not that anybody wants to get anybody injured. So I was okay with it. Just as long as the ghost runner still irks me to this day. I'd rather this than the ghost runner. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Because this is
Okay.
at least fun.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
One of the things I floated around, and it probably logistically makes absolutely no sense, but I think, and again, I absolutely hate the ghost runner thing. I understand why we don't have 17 inning games or whatnot, but I miss it. There's just something. Every game now ends in 10 innings or maybe 11 if we're lucky, but like I miss that a lot. But one aspect of the slow pitch softball league that I do really like is if we do have to have a tiebreaker because of time constraints, I prefer the one pitch situation. And I think that might be kind of interesting in a tiebreaker scenario as well. But I could see where the home run appeal would be much more exciting than that. But it would just be interesting to see at some level where it's just one pitch. If it's a strike, you're out. If it's a ball, it's a walk. If it's a foul ball, it's an out, or it's in play. Whatever happens. But again, if you're going to compare it to hitting home runs, that's always going to win. But that's how I would do it slightly differently. But I'm maybe on the minority on that one. But what are your thoughts on seeing that in any capacity, or is that as bad to you as the ghost runner?
I think there's
Go ahead, I'm sorry,
one tweak that I would make, and that would be the highest vote getter in each league is your designated anchor for any potential home run derby. I know that they want to leave early, and that's a fair challenge, but if you give them a bonus for being the leading vote getter, I think that kind of into being that anchor.
Okay. Yep. What were you going to say, Darren?
No, I wasn't going to say much. No, there was another point I was going to bring up in a second, but I'm okay with it. It's just I do like that. But the thing is, remember, Mickey Mantle used to always say by the third inning he was gone in All-Star games. He was gone way back then because they wanted that time off, and I get that. So, yeah, you pay him. I like that. The home run lineup was a bunch of non-bombers. Yeah, speaking of non-bombers, why was Chisholm in the home run derby? Why?
That was a weird choice. And
was Bergkamp and Ederson not available? I just
right. Yeah. Man, but because I gotta ask too, like in terms of the time this finished, like I know I'm in my 40s now, I'm getting up there. I get tired more easy. I get that, but like, am I in the minority? Like somehow they got to find the way to make this start like an hour early, because even the Super Bowl starts at 6:30. Like these 8 p.m. start times, am I the minority there? Like, could they start it a little early? Is that possible? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
They don't want to lose the West Coast advertiser. The West Coast advertiser at 3:00. If you're going to start at 6:30 or so. Now, granted, remember the Super Bowl's on a Sunday. Different. You got people. This is during the week. This is Tuesday. People are working. They want the West Coast. And I lived in the West Coast for 16 years. I would hate it for the same reason I hate for the Tampa Bay Rays that they always seem to get the day game in the playoffs. For the same thing, So it's tough.
Especially because your biggest stars right now are West Coast too. You got Ohtani, who's the biggest star in the game. Mm-hmm. West Coast is kind of your big driver right now, driving a lot of baseball. The only fix that I can think is maybe you try to make the All-Star game always on the 4th of July.
By the way, I love that idea. Why not? I mean, a lot of other sports, big holiday. I like that.
Oh, something fell. But you know who did? Oh, sounds like Darren knocked down his setup there.
Yep, I'm back.
Yep. But and I was honestly surprised too with that game. So we're before we start talking about kind of breaking down how the All-Star game went and whatever. It was just the one sad thing about everything, Darren, too, was like with the game being so late is not everybody got to watch it. It was a little too late for some people to watch that game, including this guy right here. He was yawning. He was just very tired. He didn't get to see it through. He only made it to the 5th inning. So unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Yes. I love that guy. He's just, is it okay to say swell? He's just swell.
So you're saying he didn't bear with it?
Boom, boom.
Yes, that is amazing. Gotta love those. That's why we love. If you ever get a chance, or if you ever been at Magic Kingdom, they have the what's that ride called? But it's basically a whole ride of boat. It's a boat ride with a boat ride of puns, basically like bad puns, but they make them hilarious. I'm trying to remember. Jungle Cruise, I think it's called Jungle Cruise, and it's a whole boat ride of puns. So I love that.
Joe, I do love that as well.
Yeah. So Joe, we are going to break down the All-Star game now, though. So we were just letting everyone get on here. We had some other stuff to chat about, but so yes. So the All-Star game itself, I was shocked. I'll start with this, and then I'd like to go around and kind of each go around on what you would start with. But for me, seeing Scooble get knocked around early for 2 runs in the top of the first inning, or in the first inning, really surprised me. I think it was the 4th or 5th batter before he got an out. So I wanted to start with that. That was, I mean, I know he's facing the competition, but glad to see Ketel Marte get a big spot there. He's been through some stuff lately. I don't know if you've seen, not only was he heckled in Chicago, but while he was at the All-Star game, his house was broken into as well. So he's been going through it. So, but yeah, so I want to go around with you, Tony. What was your highlight of, or what you'd like to chat about with the All-Star game? Something that stood out to you?
What stood out to me was actually that the AL Central was not exactly, especially the Tigers, just didn't put up a good fight in the All-Star game. None of their hitters got a hit. Their pitchers gave up, I think, 5 of the runs. It was weird to see. And it was also nice to see my Twins, the ones who did get in. Joe Ryan, there you go, the Brian Dozier jersey on. Joe Ryan went 1, 2, 3. Buxton had a big hit towards the end. So it was kind of fun to have that AL Central rivalry still play out during the game itself.
I think, no, I think you're right. I really, not just in this game too, like the NL Central, like really hoping for a turnaround second half for some of these teams. I mean, and we all think the Tigers are going to run away with it, but like really thought some of these other teams would be much more in it than they are. But Darren, what about yourself? What really stood out to you? And then we'll get to Joe's comment here in just a minute. But
we know that some of the grade A talent, the starters, some of the others left, but this is an all-star game. And I take nothing away from the American League battling back. But when you're up by 6-0 and you're an all-star, you can't give up 6 runs in 2 innings. You can't. You just cannot. To me, and then you win on, as Joe calls it, a swing off. You can't give up 6-0 lead. Even though we all know, like, the end of that game is the people who, well, all-stars, but sort of like, because you had to have John Stearns from the Mets, you had to have one guy from a team. But you can't give up 6 runs. You can't. You're up 6-0. You can't.
Now, which pitcher? What in the 8th inning? Because me and Paddington were sleeping by then. But what? I
think Diaz was in, wasn't he? I think it was Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's why we don't bring him in the 8th inning. That's.
I heard he's still putting some Ben Gay on his neck from.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Right.
That's a rumor. I don't know that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was. I think what they did a good job this year overall of showcasing some of the younger talent. I know there was a lot of. It felt like this was the first time in a long time where a lot of major stars backed out for non-injury reasons. There was a lot of people that backed out for They just wanted to rest up. Some people, hey, this is the only 4 days off we have all season. I want to be with family. A lot of, and we can't look at X and different, of course, everything's going to be negative on there no matter what you post. So we know that these guys aren't checking their X to see what fans think. They're looking out for themselves and their best interests. And, burnout is real in the sports world. I don't know if you guys know about Pat McAfee, but he signed a deal with WWE to be their Monday Night Raw commentator. And he was trying to do the show and Monday Night Raw and his college football commitments and all these different things. And he, in the middle of, I think it was Money in the Bank pay-per-view, got that brain fatigue so bad. Like, he finished the show, but like he had to basically say, I have to dip out for the rest of the year. Like, it became too much. So these players, sometimes they need that time, and we can't fault them for that. And yes, we shouldn't see pitchers with 5 major league starts get to the All-Star game. And yes, not all the true starters. I think the American League, Junior Caminero, great talent. I watch him almost every day, but he was the third choice for third base, and he got to start the game because Paredes didn't play, and then of course Ramirez as well at third base. So we didn't get to see everyone, and for as long as we had wanted to. But I think there was some, the baseball heads, they wanted to see that pitcher from Milwaukee face an Aaron Judge, things like that. Of course, that's why he was in the game. He throws 103 miles an hour. But let's talk about Kyle Schwarber for a minute. I saw a post here. I know. So he was the one that ended it with that swing and whatnot. Now, was it just 3 swings that he had to be able to, and he hit all 3? Okay. Yeah.
And got the MVP for it.
Yeah. Oh, he did for the MVP. Okay. And
even though technically that was not part of the rules, it said that the swing off, originally MLB had it in there that anything that happened in the swing off could not be taken into consideration for MVP voting. But then as soon as he won it, that line on their own site suddenly vanished.
Yes.
So MLB, like, even when they do something right and have this really great thing, it's still messy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And I would like to, Joe, if you are still watching with us, can you put in the comments what your suggestion would be? Understanding the roster may be depleted and stuff, but would your suggestion be them manage the game like, let's not use everyone by the 9th inning in case we have to go a couple extra? Would you do the ghost runner? Like, what would your solution be to avoid the swing off if that's not what you think? Because I'm not sold on it yet myself. I don't know how long it's been in the rule books. Obviously, the first time they had to use it, but just interesting to get your thoughts. So go ahead and put that in the comments, and we'll read that out loud.
So you know what? Say, well, Joe's doing that, hopefully, and we've all been around professional athletes, and so this is just pure speculation on my point. But there's a reality to the fact that, we mentioned Mickey Mantle leaving the 3rd inning, but a lot of people didn't. When major leaguers were not making the money, nearly that they're making right now, that all-star bump for making the all-star team was big. And also, if you performed well amongst your peers on the all-star game, that meant speaking engagements during the offseason, commercials. So it meant a lot more than just, hey, I want to be the best out on the field. Now, with the money that they make, they don't need to do that. That's just a reality, people. And that doesn't make people care any less. It's a different dynamic.
It's kind of like when they talk about like a billionaire or something, and they basically said if you had a $20 bill on the ground, Jeff Bezos just bending over to pick that up, it wouldn't be worth his time because he makes more than that just walking on the street.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I like that. Now I want to chat a little bit about the Home Run Derby, but I want to pause on All-Star Week just for a moment because I want to ask you this, Tony. We haven't had you on since you went, but I know that you got 2 this year. Go to both Sacramento, correct, and you went to Tampa. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's relevant the news that the Rays have sold the team, and it looks like in September it'll be official, and they're going to actually stay in Tampa Bay, perhaps. Joe, I do see your comments, so we'll get right back to that right after this because I do want to tag on what you put about the Ghost Runner. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind sharing about your experience at George Steinbrenner Field, we had a blast when Eileen and I went. a couple weeks ago. But if you want to share that experience as well as with Sacramento.
Yeah, the first one that I did was Sacramento. I thought it was fun. Like I told someone, it was a great atmosphere, but that takes nothing away from the fact that they should still be in Oakland. It was awesome just being on a berm in right field, sitting there and just having your feet and your butt in the grass and just having a glove on. Warm weather, just perfect sunset, and even in like a smaller town, so it just felt like the best possible minor league feeling with major league players. And then when I went to George Steinbrenner Field, it felt, again, which makes sense, it felt like spring training, because it is a very good spring training facility. There was obviously a lot more money in it because the Yankees own that stadium. So it felt a little bit more professional. You didn't have just like a berm in the outfield. It was seats out there. So it just felt like a weird spring training vibe meets more intimate type of MLB stadium. So it's kind of best of both worlds, both minor league facilities, but just total different ends of the spectrum.
Tony, let me ask you a question, because I've been to that stadium quite a few times, both for covering the Fresno Grizzlies, and I mentioned before that my son played hockey, believe it or not, at that arena outdoors in January. They put ice down. It was kind of cool. Old Town Sac is really nice. Did you get a chance to explore? And there's some good restaurants, and I love the Railroad Museum. I don't know if you got a chance to go there. It's great.
I didn't do the Railroad Museum, but I did get to walk around the old town, and yeah, it was really, I mean, especially for being that close to San Francisco, mm-hmm. and kind of when everyone thinks of California, it's all, of course, like beaches and just really big towns. It being tucked more in there, it was kind of nice. It was just a very different feel, a lot more slowed down, a lot more relaxed, and mm-hmm. like you said, I mean, they have some bridges that would compete with, I mean, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I got goosebumps because I feel the same way.
Yep, it was wonderful. I know that the players don't like it. It's obviously not an MLB ready facility, but for the fan experience, I would really recommend people go out there, and you can get cheap tickets. You can bring your own chairs. Like I said, be out in the outfield, and as long as you're not in the sun, you're gonna have a good time.
And I have to ask you, Tony, when you went to George Steinbrenner Field, by chance, we talked about this once on the show, but did you happen to get the chicken tender helmet by chance? I
did not.
Did you see anyone order such helmet?
Not around me. Are they giant?
So I brought this up on a couple of podcasts ago, but when me and Eileen went to that stadium, we just got we just got some popcorn and some almonds and things like we had just eaten and stuff, so we weren't whatever. But there was a crew in front of us. There were 4 of them. I think they just escaped a sorority house, and they were sitting right in front of us, and they were all about 87 pounds soaking wet. But this one on the right was even skinnier, and they all ordered this helmet, and it was $22. But when I tell you that there were 8 life-size tenders, like massive 8 tenders with at least a bag and a half of fries, like it was insane. And it wasn't, like when you get ice cream in a helmet, like it's one size. This was like a helmet that Mo Vaughn could have put on his head, and they were serving tenders and fries from this basket, and this kid, he was chowing down on it from the 3rd or 4th inning. And by the 8th inning, like God bless his heart, like he still had 4 to go, but he was trying so hard. And I'm like, man, I could put some food down, but that was a lot of food. I was impressed for 22.
So it sounds like they actually have a good deal for food. Usually you kind of get ripped off at a game, but $22 sounds like it's a good deal.
Yeah, for that, you could take that home and feed your family, for sure. And if I could, you got to look it up, or if you ever go back. But what do you guys think? They made that decision since we all last talked that they're going to play the playoff games and potentially I mean, they have to make it there first. Right now they're actually out of the playoffs. They've lost quite a few games. But what are your thoughts on that if they do get to the playoffs and probably play on a Tuesday afternoon? But if they do make it to the playoffs, they're going to have some games there at Steinbrenner. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's great. Why not? I mean, that's where they play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
agreed. It's better than going to Miami. I mean, I think you mentioned it, and I was not on the show, but kind of writing in the comments. I mean, I can see where you kind of take the money if you had a big offer, but especially now that you know that you have new ownership, you are telling your fans that you're going to stay in Tampa or that area. Reward the fans.
Oh yeah.
Yep. No, I'm very, very happy. We had a blast, and it just felt nice to be like, yes, it was a minor league stadium, but there was easily 4,300 fans. It was a packed house. People were standing everywhere, and 99% of the people were Rays fans, and everybody's high-fiving each other. It felt like a giant watch party, and you don't get that same experience at the Trop, for sure. So I see Mike says 1,000 for the berm in the World Series.
Feel the berm.
Yeah, maybe. You never know anymore.
But totally different subject. But I want to ask the baseball road trip of this because it's not about the home run hitting contest. It's not about the All-Star game. But you mentioned different places you've been. So Jeff Perlman, who's been on one of our podcasts, who wrote the book "The Bad Guys Won" about the 1986 Mets, and he wrote the HBO series was based upon his book on Showtime, the Lakers. He talks about how the California Angels of Anaheim, if you will, it's a great deal to go to that game, to go to that stadium compared to the Dodgers. Give your perspective, because I never asked you that question about where the Angels play. It's so much cheaper. It's not a bad stadium. Talk about that.
Yeah, I'm still going to be biased. I'm going to prefer if I was funded fully and didn't have to worry about money, definitely would want to go to Dodger Stadium. But I mean,
I agree. No, don't you can't compare the two, but it's a great deal.
I was going to say, yeah, but when you're there, especially like I can see, especially if you had kids, because one, it's going to be cheaper, and two, you're right by the Disney park, so
right there.
You could basically do that as part of your vacation. Whereas if you tried to go to Disney and then make a trek into Dodger Stadium, that's not going to be a fun trip with the family in the car.
No, not at all.
Not at all. I was able to get I'll throw this up there. It's not going to do it justice, but a photo of
nice.
the thing. So like you can't even see the layer of fries, and like I don't know if you've ever been to Five Guys, but like where they give you a whole bag of fries, like under those tenders, like it's just insane. So
that's not our little bear friend, is it? That's not our bear friend, right?
No, that's not our bear friend.
Good.
No,
good.
Yeah, no, no. But you got to be careful because I know he's our friend, but sometimes he's already picked out his Halloween costume. It's terrifying.
Wow.
I just get so much joy out of that.
So if you guys are wondering why we show Paddington, I don't even know anymore, but it's a lot of fun, and he makes 1 or 2 appearances an episode.
It started extemporaneously, right? You just had it one day, and we have so much fun with it. Now it's part of a thing. It's what we do.
Yes. And speaking of royalty, we have another royalty here in the house.
Yes.
Everything is better than Oakland. Anaheim is nice, but the line for the pro shop was ridiculously long in Anaheim. So, yep.
Not wrong.
Nope. So I want to get back to what Joe was mentioning. He was saying as far as the All-Star game, the Ghost Runner starting the 11th was what he would do. And then not the regular season, though. Everything must be earned when it counts. So, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of us have a problem when it gets to the 10th inning with the Ghost Runner, but maybe stretching it to the 11th might be helpful. And it seems like the rosters are large enough. And I think anyone that agrees or commits to playing the All-Star game has got to be okay with playing 3 or 4 innings, I would imagine, unless you're a pitcher, of course. but it seems like they would have enough players to make that work. And it's not like it's going to be a tie every single year. So I don't know. And maybe even too, like, do we have to in the All-Star game have the rule where if you were taken out in the second inning, you can't come back in? Like, it's an All-Star game. Does it make, like, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't mean anything anymore to win. You're not getting home field advantage in the playoffs. So maybe that could be an option if they're worried about, rather than a home run swing off, maybe they could bring at least one player back in the game. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe reset the rosters after the ninth inning and free substitutions to get back in. The only other thing that I can think of is, since you have so much baseball royalty at these games, if it starts to go late, why not bring some of the legends on the field? Have some of the legends sitting in the dugout for anything that goes into extra innings. I mean, people aren't going to get mad if they see Derek Jeter take the field.
Right? No. Do you guys remember? I think it was back in the day they had Garth Brooks played for the Padres one spring training, and they had Will Ferrell.
Tom Selleck played for the Tigers. Seriously,
Billy Crystal was with the Yankees, right?
Yes, he did with the Yankees. That's right.
Yep. There was Armando Benitez tried to play with the Mets. He was so.
That's when I was actually a Mets fan, because I was rooting for Robin Ventura, and that hurts.
Yes. Guys, too, we are up to 26 people.
My big Armando Benitez moment is not him failing with the Mets. It's how I sat in glee when he ran like a child off the mound for the Baltimore Orioles when Darryl Strawberry, playing for the Yankees, was going to give him a beating.
Yes.
Loved everything about that.
Michael Jordan tried to play for the White Sox. Not well, though. Yeah.
No, not well.
No, not well enough. And speaking of Michael Jordan, tune in next spring to ESPN, where they'll discuss who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan.
And if you miss it on Monday, they'll talk about it on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
For a second, I thought you were going to tease like your biggest ever guest and say that Michael Jordan was coming on the program.
No, he won't be with us. But met Garth Brooks at Pirate Spring Training. Okay, why not?
Now, of course you did.
Yes. Now, since Chris, because you are here, I saw your message about it earlier. But how cool is it that Jelly Roll, your good friend now, Jelly Roll, is going to be at SummerSlam competing in a tag team match with Randy Orton at SummerSlam to face Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Not only that, but to find out that, when you see celebrities back at WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., when they brought a celebrity in, they just went out there. They knew nothing about anything. To see what the celebrities, including Logan Paul, put their bodies through and do to commit to this. I saw a thing, because Jelly Roll is still touring. It's not like he's doing nothing. He's hosting late night shows. He's touring. He's at the Orlando Performance Center 4 to 5 hours a day preparing for this SummerSlam match, putting the work in, learning his craft. Like, that's amazing to see that. Like, so, because a lot of times, you think, oh, celebrity, they're just trying to get, yes, they're trying to get some new eyeballs on the product, but they're not going to see anybody make a mockery.
These are also kids, though, that they grew up watching WWE, AEW, everything. Like, they're legit fans. So it's cool to see essentially people from my generation or younger that are celebrities come on there, and they're not just there to cash a check. They're there to pay homage to all the people that came before. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I remember back even in the 2015, 2016 years, they would bring these guest hosts in every week that knew nothing. And the guy comes in and he mispronounced the guy's name wrong in the ring. And then he calls it, you got to subscribe to Summerfest instead of SummerSlam. And so he had 2 lines and messed them both up. And so I think they realized we got to stop bringing these guest hosts. Jelly Roll loved the choke slam on Logan Paul when Jelly hosted Jimmy Kimmel last night. Yeah, that's a must. If you haven't seen that, you got to watch the Jimmy Kimmel show that he hosted last night. It was awesome. He put Logan Paul through the table.
So Chris got to meet Garth Brooks. Does that mean he has friends in low places?
Yes. Love that.
Love it. Yep. He got to meet Garth Brooks and Jelly Roll, so it's at different times. But yes. Jelly Roll on more than one occasion, I believe. So, but yeah. So real quick, let's go into that home run derby as well. So what I really liked, what I wanted to start with, and then we'll go around with that home run derby. Of course, on paper, it was the weakest. And I think, Mike, if you're still in there, I think we actually texted about this. On paper, was the weakest lineup of a home run derby in terms of just what your eyes look at and go, wait a minute, like these guys are in here. What about this one? What about that one? But some of those guys have been there, done that. Some of them didn't even make the All-Star team. That probably should have. But at the end of the day, I realized instead of being bitter about it, I was like, you know what? This is a chance. Like I keep saying, I wish America could see some of these young talent, and we're always going to be fed Yankee Red Sox games. And, I love the Mets, but it's always going to be Braves Mets. And so this was our chance to see guys like Junior Caminero, who most of the world don't know who he is, or insert any of those Cal Raleigh, even though, 30 home runs, most people know who the heck he is. So like this was
Well, hopefully he'll unfreeze. But I think he was just trying to say that.
a chance. So I decided not to be grumpy old man, and I
Frozen again.
keep talking. If you can't hear me, I will be back. It must be some sort of internet issue.
Now I hear you. You're a little foggy, but now I hear you. But no, it was nice to see some of the up-and-comers, some of the people that we normally don't see, some of the people in, the flyover country, as they unfortunately call it. That was nice to see. The Central, like you talked about, Tony, I love when those guys, you get to see those guys.
Yeah.
Because, I've been a Coastie for my whole life, living in New York, living in California, now back in Massachusetts. So it's nice to see some of those players.
And he wasn't in the home run derby itself, but a guy like Pete Crow Armstrong getting
I love that man.
the love. I know that's kind of hard for you guys, you're Mets fans, but I mean, you get a lot of these guys that are, like you said, younger, that are participating. Kind of going back to that All-Star game with that Jake Mizorowski from the Brewers. I think MLB needs to be a little bit more transparent too about how many people they've asked, because especially when it's an in-game interview with Ken Rosenthal basically saying, how does it feel to not really earn your way here? That was a black eye, and
That's terrible.
I know that it wasn't necessarily the most deserving, but it's also just for entertainment, and also it wasn't really discussed how many guys turned down the offer. So you were basically slamming this kid who is the greenest of green rookies, who has a huge career ahead of him, hopefully, and you're making him look like a villain when he's just there to have fun.
I thought that was really bad of Ken Rosenthal. And what we now do, we literally put out content every day. And when I hear something like that, it makes me sick. I mean, it does. It's a feel-good, fun event.
Yeah.
And yeah, Christopher Bennett, you're right. Guy hitting a 513-foot home run. That was
O'Neal Cruz.
Yep.
Now, the thing with O'Neal Cruz, and I don't know if you guys know this, but it feels like the last couple of weeks he had some negative publicity going on with him. He was not hustling out balls. He was, balls would pass him in the outfield, and he just kind of stood there. So I think he needed that big moment to kind of get back on everybody's bright side. But yeah, that was a shot. That's like a video game home run that you just don't, to see too often. But it says even with the lack of home run hitters in the lineup, most of them stayed with 17 to 23 home runs. Made for a nice competition. Chisholm was embarrassing, but it also made it for some funny reels on like TikTok and different things like that. Just I don't know if you saw it, Mike, but there's a reel. Look it up if you haven't. But there was a reel that they did where they did the Major League movie. I think it was Willie Mays Hayes in the batter's box from Major League, but they imported Jazz Chisholm's face on his body, and it was just him like fouling balls off the top of the batting cage and things like that. It's hilarious. Got to check that out.
What made it more hilarious too was that he had a special bat, and he's talking about his bat, and it was like, you're not the natural, you're a fine ball player, but But you know what? To use a great line that C.S. Lewis uses, I'm I'm swimming in the part of the pool I shouldn't be in. It's a little too deep.
Yep.
Come back to
Yes.
shore.
And
Yeah.
It also
Um,
offers really good perspective. I mean, you have a professional baseball player that struggled that bad. It
Mhm.
shows you how great those home run hitters are, and also at the same time, all those people, the armchair quarterbacks or the armchair sluggers that think, oh, I could hit one out at a professional ballpark.
No, you
I
can't.
don't think you can.
No, you can't.
Yep, and Chris mentions less than an inch for the big dumper helped him get a win. Talk about a guy who's made a star. The fact that he has 38 home runs didn't resonate with anyone, but then all of a sudden, makes a red carpet appearance with big dumpers, and now now everybody knows who he is. So good for him. But yeah, and the other thing too with that All-Star game, or with the home run derby. I wanted to ask. So obviously, Junior Caminero lost in the finals. Glad to see that he made it that far. But could you explain a little bit? It doesn't matter who about, because it's if I'm correct, like he ran out of pitches. Like he still had, like, wasn't it like because he feel like he could have had a couple more swings because there was still time left, but he ran out of pitches or something. Was that what it was, or am I missing something with that?
Yeah, they had a set number of swings in the timed portion, and then after that, when they got their bonus, then it was kind of the old rules when they just had 10 outs, except they had 3 outs at that part. That format helped Byron Buxton, so that was kind of nice to see. So I think that as much as MLB didn't have to tinker with the whole 10 outs idea, I think this was kind of best of both worlds. They're finally starting to realize that you can't just do a clock and kind of unfairly allow guys to hit 50 swings or 20 swings. It has to be kind of measured. And I also understand that if you did 10 outs, then there's going to be a lot of taking pitches, and MLB doesn't want people tuning in to just watch guys take a bunch of balls. So I think this was a happy medium.
Christopher Bennett just wrote something here that I want to just comment on real quick. This is the second time this has happened that I'm aware of. Pete Alonso, when he won the home run derby himself, made more money off of the home run derby than he did the whole season because he was still under his rookie contract.
Yep.
Yep, that is true. And speaking of money, just a fun fact for you Met fans out there: don't forget, not too long ago we had Bobby Bonilla Day. Bobby Bonilla makes more money in 2025 than Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos, and a few others. Ronald Acuna, all making $300,000 or less than our buddy Bobby Bonilla. Go Bobby! Awesome that you scored that deal, and that is awesome, guys. We are at the most viewers we've had on tonight right now, so that is awesome. 29 of you here in the chat, so that is awesome. Made more money at like you said. But yeah, so I thought it was an exciting derby. I know, Darren, it's not your favorite event of the year, the derby, but definitely compared to things like the dunk contest and 3-point shootouts and things like that, I think a lot of baseball people come together. They make it a must watch, and they just enjoy.
Oh, I watched the All-Star game. What I don't like, and again, I'm yelling at Clouds, the old man, and I know but you're trying to bring in younger viewers with this, and what they're doing is like the rapid changes of the different shots from different camera angles and this and that. Just show how hard it is to hit a home run. Tony, to your point, I thought that was great. Show how actually hard it is instead of this up top or this and that. Whoa, and then there's the big yellow line. No, show how hard it is to do this. How it takes a lot of skill that you're not a video game. Don't make it look like something it's not. You're feeding into a disgusting stereotype by making it look like a video game. It's tough.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I think what they can also do is take a look at Japan. They have the bunting derby. if they really want to have some fun with it, do the bunting derby.
I love that.
Beforehand or afterhand, and you can even involve some of the pitchers. I think showing off that side, it's a little bit more goofy or cute or quaint, but it also is something that is going to bring in, I think, the old heads as well as the curious new heads, because they're going to be like, oh, that's a weird part of the game that we don't see often. And
Yep.
it's like a Japanese game show, but we can take it on over here.
To that point, it's interesting you mentioned that. I have always thought, like, who had the best arm growing up? Was it Jerry Grody? Was it Johnny Bunch? Was it Thurman Munson? Was it Colin Fisk? Let's throw out some runners.
Yes.
The American League versus National League. You put your best catchers there, throw them out. Let's see what's going on. Who's the better base stealer? Is it Acuna? Who is it?
It's kind of like the shootout in hockey during the
Yes.
NFL. Yeah. Bring
Absolutely.
Defense and offense together, and you have the perfect recipe right there.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a great reference right there for sure. So here we are. We have Wednesday off, Thursday off. So every play resumes tomorrow. Some interesting series coming up this weekend for sure. So we're a little bit past the halfway mark of the season. The game, there's two series though that really stick out to me. We have Boston and the Cubs. Boston, probably the worst time to have All-Star break when you've won 10 in a row. The last thing you want is to not play another game because you want to stay hot. But I think that will be a great series for sure there. And the other one that I think is going to be interesting, we have the Astros and the Mariners. Mariners are playing some really good ball right now for sure. And Houston, obviously, we know what they're about. So those are the two biggest series for me coming up. But there's some other stuff as well. But I really look for this second half. Some teams, they get that fresh, basically like a restart, of course, unless you're the White Sox or the A's or the Rockies. Your state is already sealed. But I want to ask both of you guys, I know we're starting to come close to our end of our time here, but if there's one team, I'll start with you, Tony, one team that is not currently holding a playoff spot that could be, because there's always one that, comes out of nowhere. If you had to pick one team not currently with a playoff spot that can break out and secure one, what team would that be?
Oh boy, I'm looking at the wild card standings here. I'm gonna have to be a homer for your local squad and say, quite honestly, the Rays probably have the best shot in the National League. If the Giants make another move or two, and if that Devers saga gets ironed out there, they would be the most likely. I don't really see it in the cards for my Twins, and if I'm going to try to make money in Vegas, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of money on the Angels just because I want them to finally make the playoffs.
And Darren, because he mentioned the Angels, that was your surprise pick at the beginning of the season.
Still is.
Still is.
Still
okay.
is.
Yep. That is good. I want to show this real quick because this is, to me, it just looks a little awkward. And go ahead, guys, put it in the chat too. Same question, those of you watching along with us. Who is that surprise team not currently with a wild card spot that you foresee potentially getting sneaking in? But we were talking about the Athletics and we're talking about the Rays stadiums earlier. Just looking at this, though, the one thing that just stands out, like how depressing is just seeing the word Athletics like this. It just looks
so
silly. Yeah,
It's horrible.
It is horrible. But
it's a slap in the face to the people of Sacramento. I mean,
No, it really is. That's a great point. We talk about the people in Oakland. It's a slap in the face to Sacramento. You're so right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I of course there's some teams like the Marlins were a nice story, but like, come on now, like really, I agree. I think it's going to have to, and I'm not just saying that, I think the Rays, they're going to be getting Shane McClanahan back. They haven't had a single, knock on wood, starting pitcher injury all season. So their offense, of course, they're not going to be spending money right now to be getting anybody, but I think they have just enough to squeak in there. We can't. The Red Sox are not going to keep at this pace, so it's a roller coaster season. So I think, and I know it's not a out of the box pick because they're right outside the line right now. But I would say them. And then if there is a team in the National League that could sneak in, I would say that the St. Louis Cardinals could be that team. But I feel like the Ducks are going to fall where they are right now in the National League. Of course, the Braves, you seem like feels like they always find a way, but I think there's too many hurdles for them this year for sure. And Christopher Benz says All-Stars, Savannah Bananas would be a cool part of All-Star Weekend. Okay. The 3-team tournament.
I don't need to see major league players doing Macarena. I love, what the Savannah Bananas are doing, right? I do, but that's performance art. I love it, and I'd like to see them come in and maybe do some. See, this would be awesome, right? But you talk about an All-Star Weekend, July 4th weekend. You have the Savannah Bananas playing against some of the old timers, maybe, or they play against, something like that, And you have an old timers game. You have some, instead of punt, pass, and kick, throw people out, bunting, all that other stuff. But I want to ask this question because it's a serious question. You mentioned the Marlins. What's going on there? I mean, people just don't show up.
That's a good question. I can't wrap my head around it. It feels like a team that for decades now just hasn't had an identity. They can't find an identity on the field. They can't find a franchise player. They can't find their target audience. It's one of those things where, especially now that we have the World Baseball Classic, we have a lot of that international sports drama going on. I know it's still a U.S. city, but lean into your Latino market down there.
100,000%. San Diego's doing a wonderful job with that.
Right.
A wonderful job with that.
And you know what? It might mean you have to have cheaper tickets, but you would think selling 20,000 cheaper tickets is better than selling 3,000 current price tickets.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a team that's won multiple World Series. But are we the Miami Marlins? Are we the Florida Marlins? But my point is, you think you have all of these people from the Northeast, old-time baseball fans, going down. You have a culture in the Latin American community that loves baseball, literally grew up on baseball, and you can't get anyone there. You think about the fact that the Rockies, I just want to finish the point, they are having an abysmal season, but they are 14th in attendance. They're killing it. They're doing great.
And I was just going to say that the Marlins, too, they are a cornerstone for the World Baseball Classic at that stadium, and they sell it out. So baseball can work there.
What I'd like to see, maybe they can sell, be creative with their merch, right? Like, instead of making jerseys and T-shirts with players' names on the back, make it where you put someone's name on there, but it can be peeled off, so that way you can put the next guy that's going to have that number the following year, and then the following year, etc. Because they don't pay. I think that is some suggestion, maybe, because we know their team's rotating all the time.
Or make it like the Browns quarterback jersey, where you can just add a new one on there every year and just have the list get longer.
Well, just put Chico's bail bond. Like the Bears best. Why not?
Yes, the Cleveland bail bonds Browns. That seems to be the. But man, they go back a while with the problems with everybody. But no, I think it comes down to one that they don't have. They know that these people aren't going to probably be there. They're going to jump ship as soon as their contract's expired, or they're going to get traded away. There's, But you know what? Hold on a second. You Rays know that, that they will lose a lot of their best players, but they still look at what they can do. They get the playoffs every year, and people make fun of how many go to the playoff games, but again, I believe that's because Theos get shafted and get the Wednesday afternoon game at 1:00 when people are at work. Stop. Yeah. But I definitely want to do a plug here when it talks to the Marlins too. We've had Eli Sussman on once before from Fish on First. We had Alex Carver on, who also is part of Fish on First, who covers their minor league system, Fish on Deck. And there's a good group of them that I follow. I would definitely check out Fish on First because they post a lot of really good app articles online.
And I want to be clear: this is no hate against the Marlins. I love him, but this is more for the city. Wake up.
Yeah. Now here's my last question point of the night as we wrap things up. One thing I love. Okay, I've made it clear on the show 13 times, I think, over the 98 episodes, that I love the NFL, love the draft, but I don't want to talk about NFL draft in, March when it happens and whenever 7 months before it's going to happen, and mock drafts and stuff. And I get that there's a minor league system in baseball, but as much as a baseball guy as I am, and I love minor league baseball and stuff, what can be done to make me excited about the MLB draft? Because I'm watching the Fish on First podcast, and they were so excited about the draft and this pick and that pick. And I'm like, I want to be that excited about it, but it's just like an afterthought. Like, what could possibly be done, if anything? Or is it going to always be that way because they're not coming up to the majors anytime soon? But I always just wanted to get your thoughts on the MLB draft, because it always seems to be something that just kind of happens and no one ever talks about it.
Good. Tony, you want to go first? Because I have some thoughts, but go ahead. Go first if you can.
I think that now with the NIL money, that is keeping kids in college longer, which is really good news for the fans who want to see guys get called up as soon as possible. You're going to see a lot more guys go right into AA, then AAA quick, and kind of do the Paul Skeens where it might take them a year to get to the pros. I think that's a positive thing. So if MLB can partner more with college baseball and really highlight these players, that's going to be good. So maybe MLB starts putting some of that money into the NIL funds and letting these schools kind of do cross promotion with that. But then you also have the prep school guys and high schoolers and stuff. And I just don't know how you're going to get that on a national level. It's those are your riskier players. Those are the guys that are going to take forever and also could be the first round bust. So I think you just kind of lean into the college athletes for now. And then I think whatever Darren says, you implement.
Yes, unless I'm wrong. But no, actually, this is a subject I love for the three of us to come back in and maybe some of the others people, and let's have a real roundtable, because the dirty little secret of the NIL is this: minor league baseball, as we know it, it's not going to dissipate, but there's going to be really no need, because if you could supplement the college program, and it used to be like, if you weren't really good enough to get a minor league contract, you stayed in college. Now it's going to be the reverse. Think about how much less an organization has to pay if they're sponsoring, 50 NILs across some of the Notre Dames, the Dukes, wherever the case may be. The Georgia baseball is amazing college. Texas, they're going to do that now and stay. They're going to get their education. They're going to get some wonderful resources from the colleges. The alumni is going to be overpaying for these players. You can do that, or you can go play single A ball and struggle. Now, listen, I'm very blessed to live where I do in Cape Cod. We have the Cape Cod League. That's some of the best young talent you're going to see, and it's amazing, and everybody should do that. And one of our guests brought up the point. It's true. No disrespect to some of these fields, but some of these fields are kind of old and janky, but it's wonderful watching them play on it for free. There's Burns. Every game is free to go to. And you can go to like 3 or 4 different games a week and see some of the best players in the nation.
Same here. We have the Northwoods League, and those guys, I just saw a picture of Adrian Beltre's son is playing in the Northwoods, and Adrian Beltre was at a game. So you could possibly see a Hall of Famer in the stands, and like you said, get to see the future athletes. Going back to the NIL money, it's also a safer investment for these clubs if they see a guy play in college for 2 to 3 years, they're much more willing to risk the $2 million signing bonus than a kid out of high school who might struggle the next 3 years, because you don't know if he's actually going to put on that weight. You don't know if he's going to keep his arm intact. Like, it seems like a no-brainer that college is a better investment for the sport in general.
True. It's going to be very interesting to watch.
And just some quick numbers here, because we're talking about finance or money values and stuff. Right now, the single A ball players average minimum salary is $26,000 a year. Double A is $30,000 a year, and Triple A is $35,000 a year for the minor league levels. And then you look at the major league minimum, I believe, is $350,000 to $375,000. It keeps changing. So you can be the best player in minor league baseball, and most you're making is $35,000 a year, or you can be the lowest paid baseball player and make $375,000 a year.
And ask yourself this: how much money is the? And again, I'm being rhetorical and kind of funny, but is the backup punter for Notre Dame making? You know, I mean, probably more than a single A player is getting.
Well, even the price of college alone, if you're on scholarship, is worth more than that minimum salary.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. And I want to point out, as we wrap this thing up here, I see Chris's comment about missing the Vero Beach Dodgers. So one thing that I really miss about Vero Beach too is the uniqueness. Like, you could literally sit, Dodger Town. You could sit one block away, or you're like, it was bleacher, and then like a player sitting there, and then you can like flick them in the ear behind where you were sitting. And one thing that they did for a while, even long after that they were gone, was on Jackie Robinson Day, they would open up Dodger Town for one game, and the St. Lucie Mets would play a team in Dodger Town once a year at least, which I don't think they do that anymore either. That was something, at least one game a year. But that was the best experience. You were so close to the action. It was such an awesome, and Vero Beach now is really like a ghost town compared to what it was. It's a shame. That was such a fun environment for sure. So definitely missed that one. But well, guys, I can't believe we've had a lot of fun. I know, wish we could do these more often, all of us together. And as always, we have the most viewers on we've had the whole podcast as of right now when we're signing off. But that's okay. Thank you, Tony, for coming back on as our standalone guest. I wanted to just have you.
Hit the notification button, people, please.
Yes, notification button, subscribe, like, share with everyone. Everyone, literally. We'll wait right here. Go share with everybody that you can, because we want to continue to get this out as much as possible. And we appreciate the Facebook likes and the X likes, but we really need that thumbs up button on YouTube is the key. So
and remember, Nashville Tax Solutions, my friends. Nashville Tax Solutions.
And if you forget, watch 98 episodes of Around the Ballpark, where you can see 98 times this floating ticker at the bottom, and that's got the contact info you need for Nashville Tax Solutions. But please, it would make me very happy. And so we will be back with you live on Sunday with episode 99 of the podcast. And again, of course, 1 week from tonight, episode 100. So don't miss.
What's going to go on for that? Give us a little tease, Mike, a little something without giving anything away? Come on, you're the wrestling guy. You know how the tease is done.
What, for episode 100?
Yeah.
Well, do I want to get... okay, well, it's someone we've had on once before. He may not be our only guest, but he's someone we've only had on once before, and someone who is a diehard NL Central fan, or AL Central fan, I should say. AL Central fan, not NL Central fan.
Can I put it in my 1970s WWE voice, WWF voice?
Yes, go for it.
The following is commercial in nature. Next Thursday night, live on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, and some other places, who knows? There's going to be excitement. There's going to be guests from the past, maybe some more guests. Be there, be square. Make sure you're there. Bring the kids, keep the kids home. I'm not sure, but either way, listen. And by the way, the following was commercial in nature. And if you have any tax problems, go to NashvilleTaxSolutions.com. Back to you, Gorilla Monsoon.
I like it. I like it. I'm sold. I'm going to be here next Thursday just because of what you said. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows who's going to be on? But we're not going to give it away. But you got to make sure you're here so that way you can enjoy it. It's going to be an absolutely awesome time. With that said, thank each one of you for sharing your Thursday night with us here. And please have an excellent week, Tony. Same for you. And now that we finally have our numbers instead of just on X, we can kind of stay in contact. Darren, again, don't forget about the extravaganza thing.
I will be there.
Same deal to you, Tony.
Thank
if
you.
You're
What a
able
great
to find
offer.
Your way down
Thank you.
here, yes, and Tony, if you're able to find your way down here, we'll get you a place to stay at least for overnight. So just throwing that out there. But it's going to be a blast. I'll send again. Just check out that website. It's familychristmasextravaganza.com. You can kind of see some more info about what it is
so
and what we
much.
do and stuff. So thank you so much. Have a great night, and until next time, we will see you around the ballpark.
Here he is. He's like.